Hebrews 11:1 through 40, faith. Faith is an intense form of trust, and people's relationship with God has always operated on the basis of faith. Time and time again, all throughout the Bible, salvation is found in the same way, trusting God's promises by faith, and then following God's commands. Hebrews 11 looks at faith through the lens of the stories of people who live their lives by faith in God. Faith is confidence in what we hope for, and assurance about what we do not see. And these biblical characters were commended for having such faith, understanding that faith was necessary to please God. In faith, Abel offered a costly sacrifice. Enoch lived in a way that pleased God. Noah obeyed divine warnings and built a giant ark. Having never seen a drop of rain, Abraham left his hometown of Ur and went out not knowing where God was leading. Sarah bore Isaac in her old age, and the stories continue. The writer of Hebrews makes the point that many Old Testament people of faith trusted God for power and victory, and they refused to compromise their faith in God, even in the midst of life-threatening circumstances. Some of these faithful people died without having received what God had promised. Some had to find consolation in the fact that they would not realize the full blessings of God until they entered heaven. Other people powerfully experienced God's strength and deliverance, and their testimony of deliverance still stands. But many others, despite their implicit trust in God, experienced torture, mocking, beatings, imprisonment, stoning, destitution, and affliction. These are the people of whom the world was not worthy. Because of the example of these faithful ones, we should be motivated to lay aside every weight that threatens to slow us down in our pursuit of God's kingdom. When we do, we'll be much better able to run with perseverance the race marked out for us, looking to Jesus as our ultimate example of determination and faithfulness. All of God's promises are kept in Jesus. Every promise that God made to these people in the Old Testament looked ahead to Jesus. By believing the promise, these people were made right with God. Every promise God makes to people in the New Testament also looks to Jesus, whose work enables the blessings of God to come to people. In every case, God's promises are kept in Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith.